Welcome back, everybody. A little bit of background on what type is before we get started. Type is innate. It is God-given. As Lady Gaga says, baby, we are born this way. This is such an important piece of this before we get started, is knowing that this is just truly innately who we are. There's no reason to question it or wonder what it is or even try to change it. So since it is innate, changing it in any way can really tax your energy levels, and you can be extremely dangerous to your happiness and your health if you're not living in your innate place. I am sure you can all think about a time in a job or relationship where you were not fully yourself and how exhausting that was. My job, for example, back in the day, I worked in corporate human resources, and I didn't get to talk to very many people. And as an extrovert, this was super tiring for me. I would go into work at 7 a.m., I would get off at 4, barely would talk to anybody all day. Yes, I know, weird in human resources, but it was exhausting. I would go home, put on my pajamas at 4 o'clock and climb into bed because I needed some energy, but it exhausted me. So introverts would be the other way. If they're at work and they are constantly needing to be with people, that's exhausting for them. So again, not debating it, not challenging it, just really understanding that this is innate. Okay, so we each also have a spectrum of our preferences before we get into this. So here's the baseline in the middle. So here's kind of a 0 line preference. And over here is a 30. Okay, so you have a 30 spectrum on extroversion. Means you're very extroverted, and you can fall anywhere in that spectrum. And so you can see how that is a determination of how everybody is so unique. So on the other side, someone may have an extreme preference for introversion. Another important piece about this is when someone is way over here on this side, you can see how far over there they are. It's a lot harder for them to understand the other side because they're way over there. So I like to use a teeter-totter example sometimes. When you're standing in the middle and you're teeter-tottering back and forth somewhere in the middle, you're actually a better kind of representation of both sides, and you have a better understanding of both sides of the spectrum that we're going to talk about today. And I can say that because I'm a pretty strong extrovert, and sometimes it's challenging for me to work with extremely introverted people. So I hope you can understand that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk to you about, which is also really important, is a fun little exercise using a handwriting example. So if everybody who's watching can take a second, get out a piece of paper, and I want you to sign your name with your dominant hand, whatever that is, right or left. So sign your name with your dominant hand. So as you can see, as I'm signing my name, it feels comfortable. It's easy. It's innate. You don't even think about it. It's second nature. Okay, and you guys can think about a couple of examples for you as well. So now, the challenging part, sign your name with your non-dominant hand. Ooh, feels awkward and uncomfortable and weird, and it just doesn't feel quite right. That's a perfect example of what the spectrums are like. You can do both. I was able, and you were able, to sign your name with both of your hands, but one feels comfortable. It's easy. The other, I'm able to do it, but I have to put some effort into it. It feels uncomfortable. It's not where my preferred way of being. Another way to think about this, if I was to throw a ball right at your face, 100% of the time, as long as you were healthy with both of your arms, you would go to your dominant hand. That's kind of what type is like. You're able to just be able to go to that when need be. Okay? So let's move on. Other factors that influence who we are, and many videos are going to be coming up about these other issues, but I wouldn't be a very good therapist if I didn't also talk about family of origin, culture of origin, your birth order, and past traumas, and etc. There's so many other things that also factor into this that make you a unique human being. And again, as we continue on this video process, I'm going to talk to you about my entire Accomplish Magnificent Things system, and all of those are in there as well. So last but not least, this is meant to validate, not pathologize. Myers-Briggs is the best tool I have ever found to understanding our innateness. This is just the first step in really understanding ourselves, but I believe a key first step. Okay, so let's jump into the dichotomies.